And we're live. Whoa, friends, welcome to the Tomsic Analysis. I am David Tomsic, your host. It's March 28th, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me. Listen, we have our new logo. We're ready to start a new era here at the Tomsic Analysis. So please like, subscribe, and share this channel. Share it with as many people as you can. Spread the news. We're going to try to make this your go-to place for news and information, accurate news and relative information you need to know, relevant information you need to know. So thank you. Listen, today we've got a big podcast planned, I guess, to say that it looks gloomy about nuclear war. We are in a threat of a nuclear war. We've never been this close to the possibility of a nuclear war since the Cuban Missile Crisis and John F. Kennedy. But hey, if you want to get in touch with me, if you want to talk to me, you can send me a message here on the live stream, or you can email me at david_truthmatters@yahoo.com. That's david_truthmatters@yahoo.com. I look forward to hearing from you. So live streaming. Now, again, this is my second one, so I'm looking for a producer. I really need help here. I am not very good at this whole thing here, and lighting, you name it. I'm struggling. It's just a one-man band here. I do get Ashley once a month, and she's a gem, really helpful. But in the meantime, you know someone here can help me in southwestern Pennsylvania, let me know. Really can't pay a lot. I don't make any income here. This channel makes zero. We're going to try to let you help us out here eventually, I hope. So let's get started. The war in Ukraine is an issue. We have been in a proxy war with Russia and for quite a while. And for the last 2 years plus, we've been in a proxy war with them in Ukraine. Now, whether you think you know about what's happening in Ukraine or not, it's not important right now, because I've done 2 videos on this. You can go to my video channel and you can find those videos. And everything I basically said in those videos is accurate. In fact, it's more accurate than many people that you hear on the news are, okay? It's accurate because I have sources, not just from the mainstream media. I don't really listen to them people. They're shills. Their narrative is all politically based. I don't listen to what the State Department says or the Defense Department. They're shills as well. Their money, their skin is in the game in the war. They want the war. They make money at it. They want to destroy Russia. They want to hold on to American hegemony. You know, there's a lot of things going on there with Russia. And now it leads us to where we're at, okay? Now, most Americans, and this is the problem we have, most Americans live in a different world than the rest of the world. We have a thing we called normalcy bias, okay? We also can call it reality bias. And that definition is this. It's cognitive bias that refers to humans' tendency to simplify events to reduce anxiety and allow for decisions, or say allow for decision-making and action. This tendency causes individuals to fail to perceive unexpected stimuli and only see things that support their chosen explanation. So the flat pat answer is, we want to see what we want to see. We don't want to see anything negative. So we sort of just stick with the old narrative we had. America's winning this war. Ukraine's losing. Ukraine's winning. Russia's losing. That's what we're told. That's the simplest thing. That's what we want to know because we're so great here and we don't want to be bothered. See, right now, and I digress on this, right now, guess what? You have NFL free agency. Here, the Pittsburgh Steelers, wheeling and dealing. Some big things they've been doing. Yeah. Then we got the NFL draft in April. We got baseball. Pirates played their first game today, opening day. We've got spring. We've got all these events, graduations coming up. We don't want to be worried and bothered by reality. Oh, God forbid. So we don't want to know the truth. And I've debated people all over the place, everywhere I go. Now, many people kind of know what's going on. I appreciate that. They know, they understand. And even if they didn't know exactly what I told them, they were willing to accept it because it was logical. It was factual. They could reference something and say, yeah, I mean, that's what's happening. Others don't just jump down your throat. They just think that America's America. America stopped being America a while ago. I always base my premise for American demise, the American demise, should I say. I always base that on 2008. Now you can go back farther. There's been a lot of things happen over the time here. But 2008 was different. The financial system died. We animated it with a debt-based economy. We traded it out. So I have friends that sit at Panera and other coffee shops that I know. It's hot. The hummy's so great. It's a Bidenomics. It's fantastic. And all that's a lie. I've done a few economic videos just recently. You can go to see them. I always update people on the status of our economy. I've debunked all the Biden numbers and even farther back than that. Okay? We're in a debt-based society, a debt-based economy. We're in trouble. Okay? Financially, economically, we're in debt. The American people are in debt. The U.S. government's in debt to a tune of $35.55 trillion. $1 trillion every 6 months. And there's no stopping that. It's a juggernaut. Okay? Because when we stop going in debt, the country falls apart. That's the key to this. You see, we started plugging money in by the trillions in 2008 to keep the economy together. Because if not, it's gone. People will be in the streets. There'll be riots in the streets. And we took interest rates to zero. Now all of a sudden we moved them up to 5.25%, I believe. That's what, that's the Fed funds rate, I believe, right now. And they're thinking of lowering it maybe. There's debates over that. Who knows what those people are doing. But my point is that there's still a lot of money in the system. We still print a lot of money to keep it going. Once that stops, it falls apart. That's why Wall Street's on record highs, because there's plenty of money to put into it, because there's these people that really are fooled by the system. Okay? But I digress on that. Now, in talking about the nuclear war that could happen in Ukraine, that's another part of this normalcy bias, this reality bias, that we don't think it's an issue. We don't want to believe that there's an issue there, that we're winning the war, Ukraine's winning the war, Russia's losing the war. That's what we're told on NBC, CNN, all these broadcasts. That's what all the massive newspapers, the big ones across the country and in Europe, are saying. And of course, it's been coming out recently. That's not so true. But there's still people, there's still writers, there's still the true believers that are writing that it's going to turn around any minute. That's not going to happen. Ukraine's in trouble. They are losing this war and losing it badly. We've underestimated, whether by just poor intelligence or just by bias, that the Russians are dumb and the Russians have a lousy army and their tanks are junk and they don't have any planes and the people don't want to fight. They're fighting with shovels. That's what Nikki Haley, former presidential candidate, said on Glenn Beck. That's embarrassing. I said it a while back. I'll say it again. Nikki, that's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for people like her in this country. But this is where we're at. She's a conservative right-winger. See, I don't pick sides, right-wing, left-wing, because there's so many stupid people that run our country, that are in politics in our country. Many, many more than our smart people. And what it's all about is just getting reelected. And, they'll tell you, the day they come in is the day they start raising money again. And every decision's made on how it's going to affect their campaign in the future. And that's no different from Joe Biden right now. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place in Ukraine because most Americans want out of there. But there's a lot of people, the neocons, the right-wing crazies, that want to continue to fight this fight as a proxy war. Now, as Ukraine loses, Europe gets more worried. They believe that Russia's going to sweep throughout Europe and wipe everybody out and take over. That's absurd. There's no evidence of that. Most of the analysts that know anything tell you that's never the intention they had. Plus, it takes a lot more people and take a military twice that size to even to do that. I think this special military operation, as they call it, was really designed as it was laid out to liberate those Russian-speaking territories that were under siege by the Ukrainian left or right-wing Ukrainian Nazis and those in the government who, wanted to basically suppress freedom there. And of course, that includes Odessa, which I believe is the next target. So the Russians are moving forward pretty briskly now. Ukrainian lines are collapsing. What does that mean? That means that Europe's getting more and more desperate. America now can no longer send a lot of the equipment we were sending. We don't have it to send. The money's now held up in Congress. That's $61 billion. That really would not do much of any good for Ukraine because most of that would go to defense contractors to build more stuff. So they'll never see it. So Ukraine's in trouble and Europe's worried. And guess what? Our friend, little Napoleon, Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. Those of you who like to go to France, think about this guy. He wants to get you killed. He said, basically last week, he said that he warned Western powers against showing any signs of weakness in Russia as he reiterated the position that sending Western troops into Ukraine shouldn't be ruled out, though he said today a situation doesn't require it. Now, he only said that because he got scolded by Germany and the United States. Germany right now doesn't want any part of it. But Macron, little Napoleon, wants to prove that Europe still has some kind of say in the game. That we're still a power and NATO's a power. They're not. And that's the one thing I agree with Donald Trump on is NATO's useless. There's no way they can fight Russia. Russia right now is probably the second and maybe the number one most powerful army in the world. And that's because of this war. They got into a war footing. They have now trained men and machines and equipment. They have some of the most sophisticated technology for war in the world. And, jamming technology, electronic jamming technology, hypersonic missiles, glide bombs, 1,500 kilograms. I mean, these things are massive. Bunker busters, so to speak. This is an army on a roll. So Macron wants to write checks with his mouth that our butts have to cash. Everybody in the West. See, Russia no longer trusts us. I believe that they wanted to be a part of Europe, I think, years ago. I think that's what Putin really wanted. And he allowed himself to get kind of shanghaied with some of the deals that the Americans promised him and Europe promised him that we reneged on, and that's history. So now we're in a state of he's winning this war. He has no reason to compromise now. And so Europeans, and now mainly Macron, wants to insert himself into this war. He wanted to send troops in, and of course Americans said no, but he's still thinking of sending 2,000 troops, and they're trained now, and they're ready now. He wants to put them in Romania and then let them cross the border to support Ukrainian troops in the field, not to go to the front lines. And of course what he's hoping is that somehow it triggers others to come in, and something happens in the war that escalates it, that he can invoke Article 5 of the NATO treaty. Now you might say, what's Article 5, David? Well, I got that right here. Okay? Article 5 states, if any member is attacked, all other members will consider the attack on all other members and will take action to assist the attacked member. Okay, so if France is attacked, everybody has to go help defend France. Okay, this is a little different situation right now because NATO has not declared war against Russia. By sending troops in, that is an act of war, so that makes them a target. Now, Putin told or said so, that he would definitely target any NATO force in Ukraine. Okay? He's not worried about them, using Article 5 to get everybody involved, because not everybody wants to get involved. And second of all, they don't have enough troops to get involved. Okay? They don't have the equipment, the supply chains, the logistics. They don't have the material, the ammunition to get involved. I think England said they can fight for 2 months if they went into war. Okay, so this goes back to who really is doing the analysis on this war. And I'm told by people like Larry Johnson and Ray McGovern, two ex-CIA analysts that worked analyzing these situations, and others, and you can look those guys up. They're great guys. They'll tell you that the CIA pretty much gives the president information he wants to know. And of course, this is a political ideology war, you know. Keep in mind, I want you to let you guys know, those of you that kind of look at me and say, hey, listen, the Russians are bad guys. I don't know. I'm not Russian. I'm not here picking sides to this. I'm just telling you the truth. The reason the Tom Sick analysis is here, and this is why I changed my tagline, because truth matters. Truth matters. No matter what side you're on, you should want to know the truth. If you don't, man, go dig a hole. Bury yourself in the hole. Pull your head out of your rear ends. This is something you should worry about. Nuclear war, because this can escalate to nuclear war, hence the title of this podcast. This will escalate to nuclear war if the wrong steps are taken. And I guess that Steeler draft or Patriots draft, and for the NFL or Los Angeles, whatever draft you're looking at for your football team won't matter. There won't be any cities to play football in. So Macron wants to do this. He's thinking that they'll be attacked and they can fall on Article 5. Here's the thing. Putin said right off the bat, there's no red lines. You come into the Ukraine, you're a target. We will destroy you. He doesn't care. Now they're saying he's bluffing. Listen, if you know anything about Russian history, people, if you know anything about Russian history, from World War II, World War I, I mean, they fought, millions died. They sacrificed in those wars massively. Russians don't bluff. They're prepared for war. Do you know that Russia has dozens of massive underground bunkers for their citizens? Massive. They have anti-ballistic missile defense systems, the S-500. So you may be able to shoot or fire your missiles into Russia, but not all of them are going to get there. We don't have that sophisticated of a missile defense. Believe me, we don't. Oh, the Patriot. Because you see, the Russians will use hypersonic missiles. And you can't shoot them down. You can't see them. I mean, they're using them in Ukraine, and it's just devastating. We've missed that boat. Our defense contractors have missed this technology the Russians are now using. Because what we've done is put money into old technology, into airplanes, expensive ones that don't even work. The F-35, 1,000 issues with it they're still working on. We have still old F-15s, F-16s. You know, we still have aircraft carriers. Yeah, they're impressive, and they can be formidable. But in the age of hypersonic ship-destroying missiles, those things are big targets. You see, technology has changed, and we in America live in this bubble of reality bias, normalcy bias. We live in that we're just the greatest, and that won't affect us. We're better than everybody, but see, technology is caught up around the world. Others have developed technology, have been preparing for war for a long time. We're used to playing against the Afghans, where we send in jets, or Iraq, where we just send in jets and blow things up. Now imagine sending in jets and you have the S-400, S-500 missile defense systems that'll shoot anything down on the world. It's a different war. Because they spent their money and their technology and their brain trust, their scientists, into how to defend their country, how to defend against what we use, which was mostly airplanes. And that's what we do. We're a fighter-based war machine. Aircraft carriers, Top Gun. We just fire these planes off aircraft carriers. They go and they carry out all their missions and they come back safe. That's changed, people. The world has changed. Geopolitical structure of the world has changed. I've been saying this on my videos for quite a while. Most people ignore it. They don't care. They don't want to know. They're living in their reality bias. They have their own reality they live in. Their own reality. I digress on that. Their own reality, people. So where do we stand now? Okay, so we're at a standoff. Putin's not going to stop, nor the Russian army, nor the Russian people are not going to stop until they've accomplished what their mission is in Ukraine, which, from what I understand, is the taking back of all the Russian-speaking territories. Okay? Now, here's the problem. If Kiev is still going out there and saying we're going to go back and we're going to take all that land back and we're going to go all the way to Odessa and take that back and we're going to take Crimea back and we're going to do this and that. If that's what they're going to continue to say, then Russia's going to go all the way to Kiev and have a change in government. See, Russia doesn't want the northwestern part of Ukraine. There's nothing there. The people are hostile. They don't want that. But they're going to make sure they have a government there that they can see eye to eye with. No missiles on your territory. No army to stand against us. You can peaceably exist as a nation state, but you won't be a threat to us. And that's what he's going to have to do, I think. Now, what's going to happen with our boy Macron and some of these other people that are war hungry, the Poles, the Romanians, who knows? And the next thing that happened is that we're still supposedly going to send F-16s to Ukraine. Now, they're going to be stationed because there's no real airstrips left in Ukraine. Russia destroyed them all, and as soon as they fix them, they destroy them again. So they will have to fly these F-16s, guess what, out of Poland and Romania. You think that's going to be a problem? And if they're using F-16s, these are nuclear capable. They can carry nuclear weapons. The Russians stated this. Putin just stated this. His defense people just stated this. And he said, yes, we will attack those bases that these planes fly out of, whether in Poland, whether in Romania, or whatever other NATO nation. How will that go over here in the West, huh? You see, there's no red line now. They're past that point. Now, maybe I'm digressing too much here, and maybe I'm using common sense. Maybe we should negotiate a peace deal. I mean, we're doing it out of weakness, and the reason we won't do it because we have no leverage, zero leverage. So you have to give them everything they want, which is all the territories that are Russian-speaking, Crimea, they already have, Odessa, and you have to make a deal that no offensive weapons in Ukraine, no military, no standing army in Ukraine, nothing on the western border of Russia that will threaten them. That's what's going to have to happen. That's not going to happen. Not right now. So, do you think you can survive a nuclear attack? Everybody loses in a nuclear attack, right? A nuclear war, everybody loses. Now, some lose maybe more or less than others, but what do you think the cities are? Think about this, people. So if you live in Washington, D.C., that's gone in a nuclear war. New York, Manhattan, gone. Okay? All the silos in North Dakota and Montana will be attacked. They'll take as many of those out as they can. Chicago will be gone. And Los Angeles will be gone. Probably Atlanta. Probably a few cities in Texas. The radiation alone will spread, damaging water supplies, soil. Those that survive will have other issues. And as you know, if you've watched any of the apocalyptic movies, you know what that's like. You've seen what can happen. So what am I proposing here? Peace. Listen, I'm not sure we're going to have peace. Everybody's counting on Donald Trump to get elected and solve all these problems. He can't stop the hemorrhaging. The United States has allowed itself to become an enemy, a pariah to the rest of the world. Excuse me. We've sanctioned just about everybody on the planet, including some of our allies. We've overthrew governments. We've went to war in many places, made up problems like George Bush, the weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, I'll tell you a story about George Bush. There was a guy here in Pittsburgh, Jim Quinn and Rose. I know who Jim is, and he had a talk show here, really right-wing conservative. He would read every notable white paper he could find on the air. It's boring sometimes, but he would say how, America can do these things, and we have to do this, and we have to elect this guy. And it was always a political base, of course. And he used to play the song, "Hold On, Hang On, Help is on His Way." That's when George Bush was running for a second term. Listen, George Bush is now known to be one of the most corrupt, evil presidents we've ever had. Oh, probably should be tried for war crimes, for lying to the American people, for whatever happened on 9/11, him and Dick Cheney. These people should be in jail. But you see how the political system is. We find our hero. He was going to be our hero against Bill Clinton. I think it was Bill Clinton. He was our hero. No, it wasn't against Bill Clinton. Let me know on the chat who that was, please. Well, here's the point. Just like Rush Limbaugh and all of them, they preach right-wing ideology, which I'm a conservative guy, but I'm not crazy right-wing, and I definitely not anywhere near the left wing. I don't get involved in politics for that reason. I will analyze and comment on both sides. If there's something good, you'll hear about it. If it's not, don't expect me to powder your butts. And of course, we find this with every election year. And this year, it's Donald Trump. He's going to save America. Well, already, the American dollar is under attack. I've talked about this in other videos. The BRICS nations, and I've talked about that. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today, but our time in the sun is coming to an end. This World Economic Forum, the attack on capitalism, which capitalism definitely needs revamped, but what the World Economic Forum wants to do to capitalism is take it down to pretty much socialism. And America needs to be brought down a few notches. And we're going to be. We're going to be even with a lot of other countries as they tend to now be able to control the economic system on a global basis, using, gender confusion, using, what they think is being fair to people by, leveling the playing field out, bringing the rich middle class down to match up with everybody that's on the bottom tier. That's right. That's coming. And if you look at the economy, you look at what's going down, that could very easily happen with one crash. They're going to do it with, environmental issues. They're going to use all these tools against the American people and against the people of the world. And they are doing that. Europe's already destroyed. I'm here to tell you, Europe's already toast. Germany's in recession. The most powerful economic economy in Europe is done. I mean, they don't produce anything. Their people are going crazy. They don't have energy. They're paying 10 times the amount for it. There's issues throughout Europe, and this will only worsen. And of course, as we do this, you see this war banter, that we need a distraction, I believe. I believe even this election in 2024, what will happen? Will this be allowed to escalate so that we can forego an election, where we can get a president that's a war president, a war economy president, to smoke and mirrors? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I'll tell you what, you don't want Russian nuclear weapons raining down on your city. Now, how do we stop this? Well, listen, as a Christian, I'm telling you that I know that at some point Jesus Christ will return. We know that. He said that. There's a lot of evidence, and it's closer than we think. So you're not going to lose the entire world to a nuclear war. So I don't believe that's going to happen. But can some of that happen? Can America be taken out? That's possible. We don't know where the global elites stand on the future right now, except that we're in a beast system, that we're prepared for that one world control, that one world government. We're heading that way. And America, if they get into a war, and even if they just lose the war in Ukraine, it changes everything for the United States. It's that turning point. It's that turning point for American power, for American hegemony, for our look in the world. Our status in the world will be, if not destroyed, dropped to the bottom of the barrel. So things are changing for us right now. We don't have a lot good to look forward to no matter who's president. And that's the thing I wanted to bring out most today, is that you have to be ready. And I tell you all this all the time. Please be ready. Have some extra food and water. Have a way to protect yourself. Have a plan to leave a city. If you're in a city, have a getaway, because cities will be locked down. If you looked at the Obama movie, I call it the Obama movie, Leave the World Behind. Listen, if you saw that, you'll realize what's coming down, because just recently, did we not have a total meltdown of the AT&T network? No one knows what it really was. Some are using this, that, and the other thing, an accident, whoever, but it was an attack. It's a cyber attack. We're going to be attacked one way or the other. If it's not with nuclear weapons, it's going to be a cyber attack. We are in trouble. Everybody's having their plans to take America down. And I believe that is imminent. And I believe a lot of it is with help with our own leaders. And I believe our leaders are knee-deep in it, and I think they're bought off and paid for. I believe as long as they are in power, and as long as they have money, they'll do anything to keep their status and to prove themselves to those elite, those 13 families that sort of run it all. Yes, I believe in the 13 families, the elite of the elite. Yes, I do. And I'm an old conspiracy theorist at heart. But I'm not going to tell you anything I don't have some evidence for, or evidence that I can pull out and tell you and prove to you. But the 13 families is a conspiracy theory that I hold true to, I believe. So call your congressman, your senator. Let them know you don't want to go to war with Russia. Tell them to get us out of that whole situation. All these wars. Tell us we better pull back and defend our borders and defend our people and prepare for what I believe is going to be a catastrophic event in the United States as we crumble, as the way of life that we knew growing up, people like me, will crumble and be gone forever. Listen, that's all the time I have today. I'm glad you joined me. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Sharing's important. Help me grow this channel. Don't forget to email me if you have a question or just want to make a comment that you don't want on the live stream. David_truthmatters@yahoo.com. I'd be glad to read your emails and kind of get back at you. Listen, we're going to be back on with a news program. We're going to give you the news you really want to know. I've had a lot of requests for that, so we're going to have a separate program just for news and commentary. So keep your eye on this channel if you want to really know what's going on. If not, then there's a lot of channels that will lie to you every day. Remember, keep here on the Tom Sig Analysis, because truth matters. God bless you, and I'll see you next time right here on the channel that will give you only the truth and nothing but the truth for Tom Sig Analysis.